Hello, this is Ron from Autos and Gizmos. If you think the frunk on the Tesla Model 3 or Y is great for storage but closing it with two hands is a real hassle, well, stick around because I've got an aftermarket product just for you. If you refer to the owner's manual, Tesla wants you to close the lid with two hands by pressing here. But newsflash, if we put something in the frunk, we are bound to get it later, meaning you can't use both hands to close the frunk in that situation. You're going to have to either put the items down on the ground so you can free up both hands, or wrestle with the bags on both hands while you close the frunk, which will be quite difficult if you ask me. The other thing is that the lid of the frunk is it's not as sturdy as the one you find in most ICE cars. They're made of this flexible material, so you can even see it flex a bit when you press down on it. Tesla themselves even say you could damage the hood if you close it incorrectly. And those, my friends, are the reasons why I rarely use the frunk altogether. But enter the soft closing frunk kit from Tlyard. So I've got the product right here, but before we install this on my Model Y, let's go over some details about this product first. Like, where can you buy this product and how much is it? You can get this from the Tlyard website, links down below, and there's a specific model for each Tesla, so make sure you pick the right options. As at November 2024, it costs around $170, which is down from $199 US. And if you use my discount code specified in the description box of this video, you'll even get further discounts on top of the already discounted price. So now is a good time to buy this product, either to buy as a gift for a loved one or even as a gift for yourself. Now let's go ahead and unbox this product. The first thing I notice here is how plain the packaging is. The box has no Tlyard branding, just a plain brown box. That's good, keeps the cost down. Removing the cover, you'll see cutouts for each component of the product so it doesn't rattle around during delivery. First thing I see is this funny looking metal plate, which is called the limiter, which prevents the frunk from opening while driving because we don't want that to happen. They also provide you with this plastic pry tool. It's not the usual orange color, but it seems like good quality. Next, we have this wiring harness wrapped in plastic. It looks like one of those canvas decoders you find in aftermarket Android head units. So let's have a look at this. Oh, they put the nut here. Okay, let's see that. So you use this one to connect the red wire into the power source. So let's put that aside, that's very important. Next, let's have a look at this wiring harness. So on one end we have two wires, one red, one black. The red wire has this inline fuse, which upon closer inspection is rated at 5 amps. Okay, let's screw that back in. Then on the other end, you can see the white connector. They also provide you with two small wrenches. One's a 13mm. The other one doesn't seem to have a label, but I'm guessing this is a 10mm. Then finally, let's have a close look at this soft-close motor. Oh, they also provide you with 5 small cable ties. I probably will need more later, but we'll see how I go. So looking at the plug, it looks like it's waterproof and hopefully dust-proof too. Construction-wise, it seems durable. The motor itself is enclosed in good quality material. The bracket is made of metal. Again, very good construction, similar in appearance as the OEM latch. Well, one thing I noticed different with this new motor assembly compared to the old ones is that Tlyard has now added this white insert in one of the screw holes, so the metal bracket aligns perfectly with the Tesla frunk latch to make installation easier. So thanks to Tlyard for doing that. Then it has this cable with a ring in one end, which you hook into the frunk latch. Then if we flip this around, you can see this lever which turns into that micro switch. We'll see how this works up close and personal later. I might put a GoPro inside the frunk and we'll see this in action. I've seen how others have installed this where they have a cable uncovered, so you see these unsightly shiny wires all around. If this was a head unit installation that I've done in my other videos, I'd be wrapping this with fabric tape. But since this wire is out with the elements, I have this plastic tubing which actually looks similar to the ones used by Tesla. So Tlyard, if you're watching this video, it would be good if you can include a plastic tubing to cover up these wires. And that's it. That's all we have in the package. So let's get right into it and install this thing. To get started, unlock the car and then open the frunk. It's important you have the car unlocked throughout the process. Otherwise, when you disconnect and reconnect the wiring harness for the front latch, it could cause the car alarm to go off. Next, lift up the hood, and if you have a frunk mat, go ahead and remove that now. Then, using a plastic pry tool, insert that here to help you lift the plastic trim to release the clips. For the top clips, simply grab the trim here and lift it up. You start from the side, then slowly work your way towards the middle, then head over to the other side to release the rest of the clips. Then set this aside. Next, using a 10mm socket wrench, remove these 4 10mm bolts that hold the frunk tub as marked here. I'm using a basic socket wrench here, but you can also use the 10mm wrench provided by Tlyard, but it will just be a bit cumbersome. Next, go right ahead and remove this plastic panel for the emergency latch release switch. This is held in place by 3 metal clips on the top, so again, just use your plastic pry tool to pry it out. Once the top clips are released, pull it upwards towards you and lay it down. Next, grab your pick tool or even a small pin or a SIM eject card tool, then insert it in that small locking tab and push it gently. And as you push, start pulling this connector out as you slowly remove the pick tool. Next, go ahead and remove this 2-stage plastic clip that's holding the windshield washer fluid reservoir. Start by lifting the center pin, then insert the pry tool behind the big pin and lift it out completely. Next, gently pull at the top corners to release these 2 final clips. After this, you should now be able to completely remove this frunk tub. I like to put my fingers through the latch hole, then with my other hand, grab it from the top, then slowly lift the whole tub out. This came as a shock to me, but the whole front left-hand side underneath the frunk is covered in dirt. I mean, there's dirt everywhere, including the connector, which may cause damage in the future. And of course, the back side of the frunk tub also received a good amount of dirt. Fortunately, the right-hand side wasn't as dirty, so there has to be something different about the left-hand side wheel well. And after taking a quick peek, I noticed the left-hand side wheel well have this gill, as you can see here. That must be the reason why too much dirt is getting into this area. I don't know why Tesla put this gill on one side but not the other, or why even put this gill at all. But for those watching this video, have a look if your Model Y has a similar gill. And if so, chances are those wiring harness will also be covered in dirt by now, which over time could damage the connector and cause issues. To clean this, I'm not going to use a regular Dyson vacuum cleaner here because it might clog up with the amount of dirt that's in here. Luckily, I have this water-based vacuum cleaner called the Rainbow, so I'm just going to use this. But I'm just going to zip through this part, and you can see after just a couple of minutes, it's looking much better. So after about 20 minutes of vacuuming and wiping this area, it's now looking nice and clean again. And if you look at all the dirt collected by the Rainbow, you can see the water is really filthy. I'm actually glad I removed the frunk and I was able to see the condition of this area. I'm gonna try to contact Tesla service, like I said earlier, to find out if there's a service bulletin to rectify this issue. or this situation. Now that the internal frunk area is clean, we can now focus on installing this kit. But safety first, since we will be working on a live 12-volt power source, I recommend wearing gloves throughout the process. I want to do a really good wire management, so I'm going to start working on the wiring first. And I'm going to route this red wire under the HEPA filter assembly. It needs to route here, otherwise the ground terminal won't reach the ground point. And you can't connect the 12-volt terminal first and route the other end under the HEPA filter later because the soft-close Frunk control unit won't fit under it. Then I'm going to use this wire tubing here to wrap these loose wires so it'll blend in together with the rest of its wiring friends. So it's a much cleaner installation this way. If you don't have one of these wire tubing, just check out my affiliate link in the description box below so you can also get one for yourself. Make sure to leave a bit of red wire outside of the tubing because this part would be inside the 12-volt lead cover and there's not enough space there for this tubing. Then use a piece of electrical tape to cover the area where the fuse is because it's a bit bulgy and we don't want that to come loose. Then just leave that there for now because rather than just connecting this straight like this, I'm going to fish this wire from underneath and pull the 12-volt wire out so you won't be able to see the red wire running through the side here. Once it's through, remove the tape so we can connect this to the power source. Then just grab that loop connector and insert it into the screw. Thread the nut in by hand first, then tighten it with a wrench. You can either use the one provided by Tlyard or a proper 13mm wrench like this to tighten the nut. I find that this is the best spot to route the wires, so lay them down like this and secure them with cable ties. Then loosen the screw for the grounding point. Insert the ground pin underneath the screw. Then tighten the bolt with a 10mm wrench. Now for the control unit, I figure since this area is prone to collecting a lot of dust as you've seen earlier, I decided I want to cover this control unit so it doesn't get damaged over time. So I'm using this foam from the box. Basically, I cut two rectangular pieces and created a hole in the middle. Then I'm going to sandwich them together and wrap them with this cutout from this old disposable gloves. So that is done. Next, let's go ahead and remove the OEM front latch. But before we do, Tesla themselves recommend to mark the position of the latch before removing them. I've got this white marker and I'm just going to put a marker around the two side edges like so. Then we need to unplug this connector. This one powers up the motor for the OEM front latch. Just pull this red tab out, then pull the connector. Then loosen these two bolts using a 10mm wrench. You should now be able to fully remove the latch assembly. Then grab the limiter and attach it like so. You might have a hard time installing it like I did, but what you're aiming for is that curved portion to slide between two plates, so make sure it's in the right angle. You know it's inserted properly when you see this top portion line up and this end go past this area. After that, grab one of the Tlyard wrenches and use the handle to push that teeth as far in as possible to lock it in place. Next, grab the soft-close Frunk motor and mount it behind like so. Make sure that the white spacer aligns perfectly on that screw hole. Then go right ahead and release the spring from its anchor point. Then grab the cable with the ring at the end and loop that inside that metal post. Next, position the other end of the spring on that metal post, making sure it's sitting on top of that black metal ring. Then pull the spring back and insert the other end into that slot to charge the spring. I applied a bit of thread locker on the bolts before bolting the front latch back into the car. Then as you tighten the bolt, make sure the edges of the OEM metal plate aligns with the marker you made earlier. Next, grab the control unit and install it under this beam. We're almost done here, folks. Next, grab the red connector and connect that to the front latch assembly. Then grab the Tlyard connector and insert it into the plug for the Tlyard soft-close frunk motor. Then just a bit of wire management. Secure the wire with cable ties and it's now all hooked up. So just going through the installation, we have the 12-volt power source right there, and you can't even see it where it is, which is what you want. Then we have the wire routed under the HEPA filter assembly. Then I continue rounding it down until I hit that junction for the ground wire. Then following down here to the metal beam and up towards the frunk motor. And that is it. Let's go right ahead and test it out. So let me lower down the frunk here. That is perfect. I can see there's good alignment on all sides. And here's that view from inside while opening and closing the frunk. Now that looks really interesting. Let's now put Melody back together again. First, grab the frunk tub and carefully align it. Make sure the connector for the emergency latch release is through that hole. Then grab the 2-stage plastic clip and attach it here. Then the emergency latch release assembly and attach the connector. Align the bottom clips and insert the cover, then push the top clips to lock the cover in place. Sometimes the middle clip is difficult to attach. What I find helpful is to use a plastic pry tool and use it as leverage while you push the clip from the outside. Then grab the 4 10mm bolts and proceed to attach it by hand. Then use a wrench to tighten it. Grab the plastic cover and line it up over the HEPA filter assembly. I like to use the hole for the windshield washer fluid as a guide which way to install it. I also put white markers around where the clips are generally located. This helps me identify the pressure point so the clips will engage properly. The clips just on top of the frunk are very difficult to lock in place if you don't apply pressure on the right spot, so this will help me attach the clips more securely later. Once you're happy with the alignment, start pressing down on those markers to engage the clips. I like to start on the top clips because that's easier. Then go over to the side to engage those other clips. Then with these clips that's on top of the frunk, push as hard as you can to engage the bottom clips. You really need to push hard to engage them, as you can see here. But with perseverance, it should be nice and secure like this. And last but not the least, you have the frunk liner. Put that back in, lower down the frunk, and that should soft close by itself. So using the same process as before, I just returned from a trip to the grocery. I have 2 shopping bags in the frunk, so I go grab them. Hold both bags with one hand so I can lower the frunk, and now it fully closes by itself. And there you have it, the Tlyard soft closing frunk kit for your Tesla. And that's all I have for you in this video. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below or write me an email at autos.gizmos@gmail.com. And finally, if you find this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel and click that like button. It will improve the YouTube algorithm and help me grow my channel. See you on the next one.